Welcome to the dark side of human behavior. In a world driven by power, manipulation, and influence, the rules are rarely fair. But what if you had the blueprint? Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power isn't just a book, it's a psychological weapon. In this video, we're diving into the first 5 laws, each one a lethal power move used by kings, CEOs, politicians, and master manipulators. Whether you're looking to lead, outsmart, or simply survive, these laws reveal the psychology of influence, the art of control, and the dark strategies that run the world. This isn't just about winning, it's about playing the game better than anyone else. Law 1. Never outshine the master. Power is a delicate game, and like any game, there are rules. But some rules are unwritten, unspoken, and yet absolutely unforgiving. The first law is brutal in its simplicity. Never outshine the master. Let's be honest, talent is magnetic. You walk into a room, you solve problems quickly, you shine in conversations, and suddenly, people start noticing. That should be a good thing, right? Not always, especially when the person noticing is the one sitting above you. Because when your brilliance casts a shadow, those in power may start to feel small. And no one likes feeling replaceable, especially not your boss, your mentor, or your leader. History is filled with bright minds who flew too close to the sun. They didn't fall because they failed. They fell because they succeeded too well, too soon, too visibly. So here's the strategy. Dim your light. Just enough to let theirs shine. Make them feel like the genius in the room. Seek their advice, even if you already know the answer. Echo their opinions, even if you helped shape them. Let them own the spotlight while you operate behind the scenes, building influence quietly. Power isn't always loud. The most dangerous player is often the one who doesn't look like a player at all. So resist the urge to impress. Instead, learn the art of subtlety. Appear humble. Hide your sharpest edges. Because when your master feels secure, you become indispensable. But if you ever make them feel threatened, well, you won't see the dagger until it's already in your back. Law 2. Never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use enemies. It sounds cold, doesn't it? Don't trust your friends. Use your enemies. But in the world of power, comfort is dangerous. And loyalty? That's just a mask people wear, until it's no longer useful to them. Friends are emotional. They say they've got your back, until success makes them jealous, or failure makes you a burden. And because you trust them, you often lower your guard, make excuses for their flaws, and give them power they haven't earned. That's when betrayal cuts deepest, because you never saw it coming. Enemies, on the other hand, are predictable. Their motives are clear. There's no fake smiles, no hidden intentions, just opposition, pure and simple. But here's where strategy kicks in. An enemy who becomes an ally is often more loyal than a lifelong friend. Why? Because they have something to prove. Their loyalty isn't built on comfort. It's built on mutual interest, survival, and control. Think of powerful rulers, cunning CEOs, legendary generals. Many built empires not by surrounding themselves with friends, but by turning enemies into weapons. When you work with a former rival, they're more careful, more calculated. They know one slip could destroy the fragile alliance. That's the kind of tension power thrives on. So ask yourself, are you building a circle or building a trap around yourself? Remember, true strategy isn't about keeping people close you like. It's about keeping people close who are useful. Trust slowly, use wisely, forgive rarely, and never forget. Sometimes your worst enemy makes the best ally, because at least you know where they stand. Law 3. Conceal your intentions. In a world that constantly demands transparency, the real power lies in secrecy. Most people are like open books, flipping pages for anyone willing to read. They talk too much, reveal too quickly. They mistake honesty for strength. and wonder why they keep losing. But the wise know better. Power doesn't speak, it whispers. Law 3 is not about deception for the sake of cruelty, it's about strategy. If people can't see your next move, they can't stop it. So how do you hide your true intentions? Let me give you 2 master-level tactics. 1. Misdirection through false sincerity. Sometimes, act like you support an idea that's the opposite of your real goal. Or casually share a harmless personal opinion, something warm, even vulnerable. They'll think you're sincere. They'll trust you. And when the time comes to twist the plot, they'll never see it coming. 2. Smoke and mirrors. Create distractions. Give people something they recognize. Familiar. Harmless. While they're focused on what you want them to see, you guide them exactly where you want them to go. Think of it like chess. The obvious move is never the real move. You smile. You agree. You nod. Meanwhile, your real game is happening 3 steps ahead. Remember, people can resist force, but they rarely question what they don't understand. So don't announce your plans. Let them bloom in silence. Don't fight for attention. Let curiosity do the work for you, because in the shadows, power grows. Law 4. Always say less than necessary. Words are like currency. The more you spend, the less each one is worth. In a room full of noise, the quiet voice always stands out. And in a world obsessed with talking, the one who listens holds the real power. The more you say, the more likely you are to reveal your plans, your weaknesses, your insecurities. Every extra word becomes a thread, something others can pull on, twist, unravel. But when you speak less, people lean in. They wonder what you're hiding. They project their own thoughts onto your silence. And that is influence without effort. Speaking too much is often an attempt to impress, to convince, to dominate. But silence signals confidence, control, danger. Think of the most powerful figures in history, the kings, the CEOs, the strategists. They don't explain, they imply, they don't defend, they pause. And here's the twist. When you say little, your words gain weight. Every sentence becomes a decision, every pause becomes a weapon. So the next time you're tempted to fill the silence, don't. Let others reveal themselves. Let them underestimate you, because mystery is magnetic, and power is quiet. Law 5. So much depends on reputation. Guard it with your life. Power may begin in silence, but it lives and dies by reputation. You can be skilled, ruthless, even brilliant. But if the world sees you as weak, clumsy, or untrustworthy, your empire will crumble before it's even built. Reputation is your armor. And in a world where perception is reality, losing it is like walking into battle naked. The catch? Reputation is fragile. One careless joke. One whispered rumor. One enemy with a grudge. And your name becomes your downfall. That's why the powerful treat their reputation like a crown made of glass, worn with pride, guarded with paranoia. So how do you protect it? Be watchful. Know who's speaking your name and what they're saying. Crush threats early. A small smear today becomes a storm tomorrow. And if someone tries to stain your name, don't just defend it. Destroy theirs first. But here's the ultimate power move. Build a reputation so strong, so clean, so sharp, that it walks into the room before you do. Make your name mean something, and then guard that meaning like your life depends on it. Because in this game, it actually does. These first 5 laws are just the beginning. Behind every success story, there are quiet strategies, hidden motives, and rules that are never spoken aloud. Master them, and you'll never see the world the same way again. But remember, power is a double-edged sword. Use it wisely, or become the next lesson in someone else's story. If you want more insight into the minds of manipulators, leaders, and legends, hit that like button, subscribe, and stay close. Because next time, we're diving deeper. The game never stops, and neither should you.